Hi everyone, this is Kruti Pancholi, Assistant Professor in LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in Department of Electronics and Communication. This video is about subject Analog and Digital Communication System. So, the basic thing about this lecture, that is the content related to the analog and digital communication system. This will help the beginners who want to acquire knowledge of the analog and digital communication system. So, in this particular subject, we are going to learn about the topic. The first chapter that we are going to learn, it is the introduction of the communication system. The second chapter that we are going to learn, it is the amplitude modulation and demodulation. The third chapter we are going to learn, it is the amplitude modulation and demodulation. The fourth chapter we are going to learn, it is sampling and analog and digital communication. The fifth chapter is the digital data transmission. And the sixth chapter, that is the introduction to digital modulation, demodulation technique. So this is basically about the analog and digital communication. So the communication. What is the communication? The communication word that arises from the Latin word communicare. The meaning of the communicare, that is to share the information. So communication, that's a basic step for exchanging the information. For example, while the baby is small, it is in cradle, it communicates with the cry to call her mother. A cow moves loudly when it is in danger. A person that communicates with the language. So we can say that the communication is the basic step for sharing the information. So basically, what is the communication in the one word? The communication is the basic step for exchanging the information. Here you can see that image is the one person is sharing the information with the other. So it is about the communication. So normally what happens in the communication? Here you can see that we have the one image. Okay, it is what? This is the sender. Who is going to send the information? The communication channel. This communication channel, it's a media for transferring the information from one place to the other place. So here we have the communication channel by which you can transfer your information. So this communication channel, that can be either the optical fiber, it can be the coaxial cable, it can be the twisted pair wire. So this way the person can send or any information that can be sent from one place to the other place. So here we have the receiver. So this receiver will receive the message. So simply in the one word, it comprises of the three particular elements in the communication. So now next thing, that is, what is the exact technical definition of communication? So it's a process of sending, receiving and processing the information. The information that can be either your image, either your text, either your video data, which we can send from one place to other place. So it is about the communication. What is the requirement of the communication, or what is the need for the communication? So the need for the communication, that is interaction purpose. The main purpose is interaction purpose. Second is transferring the information and the broadcasting. So broadcasting purpose, we can use the communication. Next is the types of the signal. Now Our subject consists of the analog and digital communication. What is the analog signal? The analog signal, you can see that it's a continuously time varying signal. Now this continuous time varying signal that can be changed with a particular instant of the time. So you can see over here that the variety of the analog signals that is shown in the figure, okay, and this signal that is known as the analog signal. Digital signal. The digital signal that is the discrete kind of the signal. Discrete signal may appear in form of the ones and zeros. Okay, so what is the procedure that required to convert the analog signal into the digital? So analog signal that can be converted into the digital, that is by means of the analog to digital conversion. So we have to learn about the pulse code modulation technique, which will convert the analog signal into the digital signal. So now here you can see that my signal, okay, that is what? The analog signal, then the digital signal, okay, this is the digital signal, and here this is what? That my analog signal break up into the number of parts, okay, and what we are doing? We are converting the continuous signal into the discrete form. So this way we can go for the analog communication and the digital communication. So the analog to digital communication, okay, so the communication by using the analog values or the analog variables is known as the analog communication, and the digital communication which will be used for the processing purpose. So while we want to convert the signal, okay, into the analog to digital, we can go for this technique. The task related to the communication. What we need to send? We want to send our speech. Suppose. Then you can see that over here in this diagram you can see that okay, this is what? It's the information signal, the message signal. Okay, this message signal I want to transfer from one place to other place. Okay, so very first thing, the message signal. Now what we need to do? We have to use the electronic system for transmission, for the communication of the signal from one place to other place. So what should I do? I have to convert my analog signal into my speech signal into the electrical form. So now we need one device which will convert the speech signal into the electrical form. Now everyone knows that you have studied in the previous semester about it, that what kind of the thing, what kind of the device will convert the one type of energy into the other type. Okay, so we know that we have to use the transducer. So this transducer will convert one kind of energy into the other. So here we have the input transducer, and this input transducer will convert your analog signals into the electrical signal. So this way the input transducer that we need. Now using the communication channel, this electrical signal, okay, can be transmitted. The transmitter is also there. Now at the other end, what we need? We have to convert that electrical signal into some other form that can be understood by the human. So we need another transducer at the receiving end. So here you can see that this is what? The output transducer. It is a loudspeaker, for example. What it will do? It will have the electrical signal as the input it will convert the electrical signal to the audible form. So this is the simplest way we can say that, okay, we can transmit any signal by using the communication technique. So this is about the communication. Now, technically, the block diagram of the communication system. So here you can see that the block diagram of the communication system. Whatever the information signal is there, okay, what we need to do, that our information signal, okay, that we have you can see over here in the information source. So information signal pass it through the input transducer, okay, and input transducer will convert the speech signal into the electrical form, pass it from the transmitter through the channel, received by the receiver, okay, at the other end the output transducer, loudspeaker is there, okay, and we have the original signal back. Now the one thing is there, you can see that in our diagram. What is this? It's a noise, okay. What is the noise? The noise is an unwanted signal, okay. It's an unwanted signal. Now whenever the channel is associated, the noise is there. So noise is an unwanted high frequency signal which will be added with the signal while it is transmitted through the channel. So this is the full block diagram of the communication system. Now the need for modulation. My speech signal, that's a low frequency signal. Now this low frequency signal, here you can see that this low frequency signal cannot travel the larger distance. As it is the characteristics of the signal, low frequency signal, that it cannot travel the larger distance. So now I want to send my signal at a very large distance. How do I send it? So I need to go for the technique which will convert my low frequency signal into the high frequency, and so that the high frequency signal can travel the larger distance. So that is why the technique which is used for converting the low frequency into the high frequency, okay, we have to go for the another technique which is referred to as a modulation. So here you can see that we have the output, okay, in which you can see that the high frequency signal, okay, and after applying the modulation we can have the high frequency signal. So the low frequency signal and the high frequency signal. So conversion from the low to high, it is referred to as the modulation. There are various concepts related to the modulation, and that we can use, okay, in the communication. So it is about the modulation that is also related to the communication. Okay, so this is about the thing, and there are the three kind of the modulation, that are the amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and the phase modulation. So this is about the introduction to the communication. Okay, so thank you very much everyone. Okay, so thank you for watching this video.